Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Yes, Pilgrims, we are back at the sports desk. I'm joined once again by Andy Walker, fresh off enjoying some magnificent test cricket for all of a day and a half up in Mackay with the Aussies against the Bangladeshi Tigers. Andy Walker, what were your thoughts?
Look, it was for what's meant to be a 5-day test, and this seems to be a trend of late, is that test matches seem to be getting shorter and shorter to a point where they're just going to be like one-dayers, I reckon, in the not-too-distant future. And it seems that like batsmen just don't know how to bat over a long period of time. They just get too impatient. And
I'm going to stop you there, okay? I'm going to stop you there because you have said too much. There was no need for words such as over a long period of time. When you made the statement of batsmen just don't know how to bat, that's all you need to say.
Right. Yep.
I mean, honestly, the dismissals, seriously.
Yep.
Like, to any batsman that took the field in that test match, with the possible exception of Cam Green, who amazingly stuck at the task, but to anyone else, honestly, have a look at yourself. You can't blame the pitch. There's some very good bowling. Granted, Mitchell Starc was incredible, and old mate Shoriful from Bangladesh was also outstanding, to the two left armers. But the dismissals were awful, and I'm sorry. I feel like I've said it before, but I'm gonna go on record. Travis Head is not an opener.
Yeah, but you look at across Australia, across even the domestic cricketers, and who's going to take his place?
I mean, seriously, do I have to come out of retirement?
I think you might have to.
I mean, come on, people. It can't be that hard.
I think the other options that we're talking about have a domestic average of like 25 and 26, and how do you go from domestic cricket to international cricket as a test player, and you're only averaging 25, 26 in the domestic season? Like, how can you be picked for international? Like, I remember, like, certainly when I first started watching cricket, you had to be averaging well over 50 before you were even remotely considered for a test spot.
I loved Ricky Ponting's quote. It was something along the lines of, back when I was growing up, if you averaged less than 50 at state cricket, your dad would buy you a football or a golf club and see if you could go and make it in that sport, because you weren't going to make it in cricket. And it's a fair point. Like, Matt Hayden, obviously one of the greatest ever opening batsmen to strap on a boot, but he spent nearly a decade at state level piling on 1,000-run seasons year in, year out, and averaging about 60-odd in domestic cricket before he got a look in. Mike Hussey spent however many years running around. I think he'd scored 10,000 Shield runs before he had his test debut. And you got other players like Brad Hodge, who barely played. Stuart Law as another example. Even Darren Lehman. So many names of guys that just really were incredible state players and would have had massive careers in other countries, but couldn't get in the side because it was too strong. But now, like, you get your baggy green out of a Kellogg's breakfast cereal box, it seems. It's just disgraceful.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brad Hodge was an interesting one, because he came into the test arena, and I think he played 2 tests, scored a ton, and I think a 50, and then got dropped because Damien Martin came back into the side and never got another look in.
Yeah. I think, I could be wrong on this one, but I don't think I am. I think one thing that Brad Hodge and Jason Gillespie, great Australian fast bowler, have got in common is that they both made a double 100 and then got dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frightening, isn't it? Like in comparison to what we have today, it's just I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
But no, it's flat out not good enough, and you can't blame the pitches. It's the technique that is not good enough. The inability to play straight, the inability to let the ball go, to wait for the ball to come to you, and to grind out a tough first session.
Yep.
And a tough second session if you need to, but grind it out. Like, honestly, guys, it's not good enough.
Yeah. I did see a meme come up on socials that was blaming DRS for the low scores, and they had a warning delivery that was given not out that was absolutely fine. And the meme was, this is the reason why batsmen can't get away with the shockers. But at the end of the day, they also edged just as many and didn't get given out. So I don't think you can blame DRS for getting it right.
You can't point at a couple of Steve Bucknor shockers from the early 1990s and say that's what's wrong with Test cricket these days. Not a chance. No, I mean, bottom line, there's not enough red ball cricket played. There's not enough hard cricket played. There's not enough paying your dues before you get into the side. And then once you get in the side and you don't perform, a la Marnus Labuschagne, there's no one knocking down the door to push you out of the team. That's the problem. You can look at these guys all you want and say they're not good enough and they need to be dropped, but who are you putting in?
Yeah. And that's exactly my point. Like there's just no one. I mean, look, it's understandable if like you go over to the UK and you can't score runs over there. I mean, Clicky Ponting and all this.
We haven't talked about that yet on this show.
I know. But I mean, there's obviously him and all his mates. I mean, now that they're not in the team anymore, it might be a bit different. But
the other one,
how can you score runs like doing that?
No, well, you can't. The other one we haven't talked about, this is breaking news during the week. Okay, this is fantastic. Bryden Carse, the English fast bowler, a couple of days ago, I think it was on the weekend, was running amok in an English pub and was put in handcuffs to be escorted home. Have you seen this on any footage of this?
Yeah, I actually have, yeah.
But the best part is, some punter is filming this with his phone, filming Bryden Carse getting cuffed outside of the pub, and who should poke his head out of the door and have a bit of a look and looking around to go, is anyone watching? Can I sneak out of here? Am I going to get busted? Is Ben Stokes. And Ben, I will say this, that you will forever live in my memory because I was lucky enough to see you sneaking out of the pub.
Yeah, no, I did see that. It was hilarious.
It was good.
Absolutely hilarious.
It was good. But anyway, that's 8 minutes of ramble about cricket that we're not going to get back.
And apologies to our North American friends that have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. But look, into the world of cricket.
I mean, two things on that. I listen to a lot of podcasts and listen to quite a lot of podcasts from our North American friends, and they'll talk about basketball or baseball or NFL or one of the many sports that I don't really actively follow. But I enjoy the banter. So I think on this one, if you don't get it, get onto YouTube, have a look at some cricket, get involved. Here we are growing the game, Andy Walker.
That's true. And have a look at and just Google or get onto YouTube and look at Clicky Ponting. Right? Like absolute gold. Absolute
gold. What a farce. Unreal. But no, let's worry about sandpaper instead. Anyway, on that note, let's move right on.
Well, that's going to come up fairly soon because we're going back to South Africa. But anyway,
true story. Going to get a toweling over there if we're not careful. So, speaking of magnificent sporting competitions, this is a long bow. I'm going to take you to the yearly championship, ladies and gentlemen. We've been remiss. We've not yet done the scores for the month of July. Andy Walker, I'd like to apologise on behalf of both of us for that oversight.
I did think about it a couple of episodes ago, and then we started talking about something else, and I went, okay.
Yeah, I also thought about it a couple of episodes ago, and did something similar.
Didn't do anything about it.
Didn't do anything about it. But I have now. I've added up the scores, I think. So I'm going to take you through them. I'll say this. If you're not in the yearly championship, if you're listening to the podcast and you haven't got involved, get on our Facebook page. Join our members Facebook group. You'll find us if you search on Facebook for the Missing Links Golf Show, you should find us.
Can you chat GPT us?
I don't know. I haven't tried. Maybe.
Because I mean, that's what I usually do these days when I don't use Google that much doing research. I use AI and ChatGPT and bit of Copilot for most of my searches. And don't get me wrong, some of it isn't particularly accurate.
How about that?
I do have to push back and question, which is what you should do. But the third or fourth time that you sort of go, hey, that's not that right, do some like real research and some real due diligence, it actually comes back with a reasonably good, accurate description of what you're after. So
I probably can't test that right now because I do so much work on ChatGPT, the Missing Links Golf Show. Anyway,
okay.
That's a story for another day. So that will skew the results. But Pilgrims, give it a go. Let us know. See what you find. I would imagine that ChatGPT would be all over us, but anyway, who knows? Okay, so yearly championship. As I said, get involved. It's the single best amateur podcast-based global golf competition anywhere in the world.
Well, why are we limiting ourselves to amateur? I don't quite understand. Like if a professional came in and wanted to be part of the yearly championship, would we say, oh, no, it's an amateur competition, sorry?
Depends on their live golf status, Andy Walker.
I think most of their live golf status is going to be non-existent.
We might get an influx. Who knows?
In the not too distant future.
They may come at us from all corners. And look, it's totally fine. All our expectation would be is, because I know the PGA and the DP World Tour are saying something like you've got to pay minimum 50% of your sign-on fees from live to rejoin the tour.
Yep.
We're nowhere near that punitive, so we'd be saying you just need to pay us 25% of your live sign-on fees, and you could join the Missing Links Golf Show Yearly Championship.
Yep. Nice. I did actually hear somewhere that Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, and someone else, which the name escapes me, had actually got out of their live contract and were heading back to the DP World Tour. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
I've heard rumours of this. Tyrrell Hatton maybe giving a little bit of a foreshadowing with his choice of walk-on song of "I Want to Break Free" at the last tournament.
Potentially.
Which I thought was a nice touch. Way to go, Tyrrell. Anyway, get to the point, Andy Walker. The yearly championship for the month of July. Now, this is exciting. Strap yourselves in. So remember, Pilgrims, top 6 get points. And it is 1 point to 6th place, 2 points to 5th, 3 points to 4th, 5 points to 3rd, 7 points to 2nd, and 10 points to 1st place for the month. So that's how it breaks down. Accumulate points throughout the year. Most number of points wins the yearly championship. So this particular month, Andy Walker, we had quite a wide array of scores.
Okay.
From down in the 20s to much higher than that.
Yes.
No spoilers. And we had a tie between 6th and 7th. Which means, do the maths, playoff. Yeah. For 1 point. And this is exciting. This is really exciting because the playoff is between 2 walkers.
Oh, nice.
On 30 Stableford points was Benny Walker.
Nice.
And also on 30 Stableford points was Andy Walker.
Giddy up.
Come on. This is exciting. I think this is the first time that either of us have been involved in a playoff.
Yes, it is. Well, certainly given the playoff has started this year and I actually haven't been in the points at all this year. So that point puts any playoff, from my perspective, completely out of it.
Interestingly, I have also not been in the points this year. It's our own competition. We can't score a point. Anyway, so Benny Walker has the honour.
Look out, Benny.
Benny has the honour on...
I thought it'd go in alphabetical order.
No, it doesn't. Benny got his scoring first. So Benny has the honour, and on the playoff hole, he... Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this. Andy Walker, he's made a par 4.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I mean, starting off with a par, that's pretty steady.
All you'll do is birdie or better.
I'm feeling good, though.
Don't make a bogey. Pilgrims. Andy Walker
Show it to me.
makes a birdie.
Yeah.
Come on. Sorry, Benny. You're out of the points. Andy Walker takes this one
Giddy up.
in 6th place with 1
I'm in the points.
yearly championship point. Your duck is broken. Nice work.
2026, I'm in the points. I was actually getting a bit concerned because August isn't looking that crash hot for me. But
No, you're not alone,
look,
don't worry.
Yeah. Mind you, August, I have beaten July.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe this after June, and I think June 36 or 37 points was last place. So I wasn't overly confident with a 30 point, but
No, and nor you should have been.
I'll take it.
Yeah. No, it's outstanding. So in 5th place, adding 2 points to his yearly championship tally with 33 Stableford points in the month, Matty Woodbridge, coach extraordinaire.
Nice one.
Way to
Good
go,
on, Matty.
It's awesome work. In 4th place with 36 points, which adds 3 to his yearly championship tally, is a friend of the show. Let me make sure I get this right. It is. It's Glenn Ironfish Hughes.
Nice one.
The old
36
Ironfish
points is
himself. 36. It's solid golf. It's very solid golf. That's 4th place. Okay. So we move now to 3rd place. Wow, this is good golf. 3rd place with 37 points and 5 points. Also opening his yearly championship tally is the other host of the Missing Links Golf Show, Andy Walker. Thanks for coming. And that was my round that we talked about a few episodes back in the monthly medal.
Yep.
Which was exciting.
Very good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Which means in 2nd place, and 2nd place gets 7 yearly championship points. This was with 39 Stableford points. And it's good golf. I think playing off a handicap of 1 was James Lamb. Good old Lammy.
Very good.
He's been registering some solid rounds. That's 2 months in a row he shot 39 points.
Nice.
Way to go, Lammy.
Nice. A couple under. That's good golf.
It's solid golf. But it's not the best round of the month, Andy Walker. Either
So there's got to
either on Stableford or on off the stick.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that sort of gives away, certainly from my perspective, who that probably is.
It's extraordinary. 42 Stableford points, playing off something like +7.
Yeah, wow.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's 13 under.
I might be overstating it a touch, but it's a lot under. Like he's playing off he's playing off significant plus digits. 42 points, 6 better than his handicap.
Far out.
Yeah, far out indeed. Tim Murray from up around Armidale. That's just red hot golf. I'm not going to go searching for the scorecard now, but it's incredible golf. Tim has shot, I just want to run you through this. In 4 months, he's won 3 of them and amazingly lost into 7th place on a playoff with 38-point rounds. That was back in January when there was just some extortionately nose-bleeding rounds that were submitted. So a 38, that's his worst that he's submitted. He's had a 39, a 41, and a 42.
Yeah, wow.
Just incredible.
No wonder he's playing off +7, shooting those sorts of scores.
It's Kim Jong-un, or whichever one it was, territory, with his 18 holes in one.
Yep. Yeah, authentic, that round of golf.
Trump-esque. Anyway, great work, Tim. That's awesome.
I was actually just flicking through the last time I actually had 36 points. So I know it's been a little while.
2014.
Feels like it. 7th of October last year. It's coming up to almost 12 months
since I
had 36 points. Yeah. That's poor.
You should start a golf podcast, mate.
Yeah. And before that, 38 points on the 29th of October 2024. So I've played to my handicap once in the best part of 2 years. So
I'll tell you what, you're deadly in October though.
So Tim doesn't have too much to worry about when it comes to his 42 points.
Not for the next couple of months. There you go. That's amazing. Good stuff. All right, Pilgrims. That's the yearly championship. As I said, get involved if you're not already involved. Submit your cards. It's a lot of fun. Costs you nothing. And there's some magnificent prizes up for grabs, such as a round of golf at your expense with Andy Walker at the end of the year.
Excellent.
So there you go. All right. Tonight's topic, Andy Walker, we're going to talk about me. Okay?
Well, we have talked about me enough over the last couple of episodes. So
the Pilgrims have noticed.
I have been looking forward to just sitting back and listening for a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. There's a bit to discuss because, as you will remember, with my new coach, Matty,
Super
Coach Matty, we've been working on some stuff. We've been working on squaring the shoulder alignment because I was allegedly at address open with the shoulders square with the hips. That was leading to a little bit of a cutty kind of a swing path, a bit of an out to in swing path.
Now, when you say allegedly,
yes,
are you questioning what your coach is saying?
No. We've got video evidence to support it.
I'd like to explore that a little bit further because it sounds like you're resisting a bit already. Like what's it been 3 or 4 weeks, and
I'm not resisting.
I'm not resisting. You're saying allegedly.
I do have an issue with authority, but I'm not resisting, and I believe Matty knows what he's talking about because let me tell you, the evidence would support it.
In his golf game.
His golf game's amazing. But anyway, even though, and this is the thing with golf, right? Like Matt, he's playing off +3 at the moment. He still dislikes parts of his game. I think no matter where you're at, you always feel like there's improvement to be made. Maybe that's one of the great things about the sport. Maybe it's one of the stupid things about the sport. Take your pick. So anyway, we're working.
How many times did Tiger Woods break down his swing and rebuild it?
I know. Nick Faldo, same thing.
Yeah. So I don't think that pursuit of
middle-aged sporting glory.
Wow. Yeah. Improvement. I don't think it ever stops.
No, it doesn't. Golf is a pilgrimage. Best enjoyed with friends. So. Yeah, we're working on that. We're also working on getting a bit of stopping the crowding, I guess is what I'm saying. So standing a little bit further away to give my hands a bit more room in the swing. That's been another thing. Those 2 changes have felt exceptionally weird. Any setup change, I think it always does, but that's absolutely felt strange. The other thing that we've been working on is trying to get a bit more depth and a bit and complete the backswing because I've had a tendency to be somewhat John Rahm-esque with the lack of turn. So they're predominantly the things that we've been working on at the moment.
Is that a bit of stretching as well, a little bit of mobility work?
It's not actually. That can definitely help. But here's the thing. With with the hands being closer in, and that sort of tucks your arms a little bit more into your sides, that's prevented my ability to rotate and get my arms sort of past the torso to turn more. So I've found by moving, just changing that posture a little bit, that actually has enabled a bit more of a turn. What's interesting is it's one thing to do it in the high performance center, and it's another thing to do it on the golf course. So that's definitely something to keep a little bit of an eye on. But anyway, it's a work in progress, right? Like it's something that we continue to struggle with. So we played it was a comp round, but to be honest with you, I really approached it with the mindset of a practice round, not caring about the score, just letting things, the chips fall where they will. We played on our home course, which of course is 27 holes. We played holes 1 to 9 and then 19 to 27, the old loop.
Yep.
So par 71 still. I'll
cut to what were you playing off?
On the day, I think.
Because the slope rating's pretty low.
Yeah, it's brutal.
If I remember correctly.
I think I was playing off 9 on the day, roughly. I think it was that. Anyway, I shot an 84, which was 13 over. So
that's decent.
Yeah. So look, it was. So what was that, 32 points, something like that? It was okay. It was like there was, I think, 3 doubles. Hang on a minute, I'll tell you. There were, where'd that scorecard go? 1, 2, 3 2 doubles and a triple, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which did hurt a little bit. And however, I'll say this: we played 1 to 9 first. I shot 44, which was 8 over on those 9 holes.
Okay, so good back nine then.
Well, we'll get to that in a sec. So, and I'd started with a bogey, then I went par, then got on the bogey train, and then we got to the 7th hole, which is the par 5. And now I did say I'm not going to take you through a hole by hole, but I do want to talk you through this particular hole because it was it was a learning moment, okay?
Yep.
Which is always good. So par 5, relatively straight away par 5, up the hill, trees both sides as you would expect on a country golf course. But it's definitely a hole where, you'd like to think birdie's in play. It's a bit of an opportunity hole. So anyhow, working on the stance, and we had a bit of a conversation on the tee about distance from the ball, alignment, etc. I probably got a bit too far from the ball on this one,
right,
and toe shanked it left, which is so much fun. And anyway, so far left that it actually got out past the trees over onto the 19th hole, which comes back the other way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like right out.
I'm trying to get my head around that, and that's a long way.
It is a long way left.
A long way left.
Not far from the 19th green, actually. You know where, when you're standing on the 7th tee, sorry, Pilgrims, if you don't know the course, it's difficult to visualise this, but maybe get on Google Maps and have a look. When you're standing on the 7th tee, and there's kind of that no man's land where they've got a lot of the old dead trees and shrubbery off to the left. It kind of went over that.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well left. So far left that I was then looking back through the trees, and where the hump is in the fairway, there's a gap in those 2 sets of trees. And I went, this is perfect. I can smack a 5-wood straight through that gap, little bit of cut on it, and just hold the fairway up there, and I'm, half a wedge in to the green. No drama.
Nice.
This totally fine. So Matty was there.
Could be a new way of playing the hole then.
Super coach Matty was there, and he went, what's your plan? And I explained that's what I wanted to do. And he goes, why wouldn't you just smack it up 19 and then hit a wedge over the trees at the green? Because you could see the flags on the right-hand side up there. So why wouldn't you do that? I said, well, because I can see this shot, and I feel it suits my eye. I like it. And he goes, okay. He goes, if you look up 19, you'll see there's no danger.
Yep.
And he goes, I want you to have a look at the shot that you want to play and tell me what's going to happen if you flush it and it doesn't cut. I said, oh, well, it runs the risk of going through the fairway into the trees on the other side. He goes, yeah. He goes, so what do you want to do? I said, well, I like this shot.
So the conversation that we had when we first started, like that you have an issue with authority.
I could see the shot.
Allegedly.
I could see the shot. So anyway, I mean, this is the same hole. I don't know if you remember when we played Macquarie Cup and you were standing there and I was in those trees or in the fairway, not the fairway, in the rough.
Yeah.
With the overhanging branch, and I saw that nice cut with the hybrid, and you went, I don't know what you're talking about, and I hit it, and it worked out, right? Same hole, same thought process, slightly different spot, but I saw the shot. So anyway, so I decided to go through with it, stepped up, took the 5 wood, and Andy Walker flushed it straight through the fairway into the trees.
Into the trees.
On the other side. Pitched out sideways, wedge up, just missed the green, high side of the pin, short-sided, and made double. So we strolled to the next tee, at which point I said, all right, maybe that wasn't the smartest choice. You know, take your point, understood. But it was good. It was a learning opportunity, right? Because like I'm standing there and I think many of us are guilty of this. When you're out of position, you look back at the fairway and you kind of got this magnetic attraction of, I've got to get back there, rather than looking at the fact that you've got the whole rest of the golf course that you legally can play on. There's no internal out of bounds there.
Yep.
It's just interesting to see how a plus handicapper read that situation versus how I read that situation. It maybe explains some of the shots that separate us on handicap.
Yep. But that's also experience too, in that, you know, Matty's played a lot of golf over his lifetime and has been in all sorts of situations and managed to recover from those situations as well.
You say that, and it's true to a point. He has played a lot of golf over the years, but in all of the rounds of golf that he's played, I don't think he's ever been in that position.
No, but he would have been in similar positions though. Like there's, you know, you've got reference points. Maybe not on that hole in that position, but he would have been, and as I have, I've been in plenty of positions where I've missed and gone over a tree line onto a different fairway, and I've played down that fairway to get back onto you know, the correct hole. So, and I think it might be part of it is Matty's grown up with the game. So, and it's like you with cricket, right? You develop this, I don't know whether you call it a sixth sense, but you develop a feel for the game that someone who takes up the game a lot later in life doesn't necessarily develop to the same extent.
100% agree with that. Totally agree with that. But anyhow, it happened. It's okay. It wasn't the end of the world. I did make par on the next hole, so it was a pretty good bounce back. Bogey up 9. But then we went to the second 9.
But before you do that, I guess a question that I'd like to ask is that given the same situation, would you make a different decision now?
If I was in that exact situation again, yeah, I'd play up 19. Absolutely.
That's good.
Because on like when we broke it down afterwards, the risk reward is just not even close, right? Like
correct.
Going up 19, it was like hitting at a paddock. You know, like there was probably a 40-metre wide landing zone to hit, whereas what I'd chosen, whilst visually it looked somewhat appealing because it was going in the right direction and there was a nice big gap in the trees to go through, but if I was, you know, say 20, 30 metres left or right, or, you know, 10 or 15 metres left or right of the centre line, so 20, 30 metres in total, I'm hitting a tree. And then I've also got the forwards, backwards dispersion issue, like the distance issue as well. So there was so much more risk involved in that. which wouldn't necessarily have been the case if I played the other direction. So yeah, it was a bit of, as we said, we broke it down afterwards. It was a bit of a no-brainer, but it was good. It was a good opportunity. It was a course management moment, and you don't get those opportunities when you have lessons on the range because
correct.
Obviously, course management needs to be on the course. So we went to the loop. I made double on the second hole, which was annoying because I'd hit a relatively good drive, hit my approach into the bunker, and then thinned the bunker shot over the green, just made a mess of the hole. But bounced back again with a par, then made triple on the par 5, which is 22 that goes up the hill. Sprayed my drive a little bit and punched one out, hit a tree, went sideways, all that sort of stuff. It was just messy. Made a bogey on that par 3 up the hill, which is, I think, the worst hole on the golf course. It's that green, 150 metre par 3, and the green's 5 paces wide.
Yeah, right.
It's just ludicrous. Anyway.
Yeah. Haven't played the 9, and to be honest with you, after talking to you about it, I'm not in a hurry to play it.
There are some good holes, and then there's that one that's just, it's awful. It's the place that golf goes to die, to be honest. But anyway, every course is gone.
I think the original 18 holes at Dubbo is so good that's probably what I'd want to play most of the time, unless we're just going out for a hit, and then that's different. But in any sort of competition, I think I'd like to play the original 18.
Yeah, 1 to 18 is definitely the pick, no doubt. I mean, look, at this point, I've got 4 holes to play and I'm 14 over. So it's not great scoring, but at the same time, I wasn't really worried about that because, as we said, I was going out to try and groove the swing and test it out on the golf course and see what the ball flight was doing. And in many respects, there were some absolute green shoots. Like there were some good drives that were hit. There were some, there were some irons that I had hit pretty crisply and was probably going 5 to 10 metres further than had been before. And generally speaking, most of my ball flight was a bit of a draw. It was looking pretty promising. So then we got to that short par 4 across the top at the back, which is an opportunity hole. I made par at that one with pretty regulation golf. And then the toughest hole on that 9 is a par 4. It goes down the hill. It's quite long, but then also you've got this sort of 45-degree green with a gaping bunker at the front and a massive drop-off at the back that then leads down to out of bounds. So anything long is potentially out of bounds. Anything short gets gobbled up by that bunker, and you kind of got this angled green, and it's it's a long hole, so you quite often sort of hitting a mid-iron if you don't get your drive far enough down the fairway. So it's a tricky hole anyway. So I hit a drive down the left side. It was in the rough. In fact, you saw video of that particular drive.
Yes.
It was in the rough, and I was then 160 metres out from the rough with a couple of trees in front that I had to go over to get to the green. So I took 6-iron and flushed it straight at the pin. Would have gone just over the flagstick, hit and stopped to about 2.5 metres.
Nice.
One of the best golf shots I've ever played.
Yep.
And what was exciting is Matty was more excited than I was about that one.
Nice. It's always good when the coach gets excited.
Yeah, it was
you're doing something right.
It was one of those moments, right, like when stuff clicks and you go, that's what it's meant to feel like. And like at that moment, it actually felt like golf, which that was cool. The best part, Andy Walker, we got down there and I sunk the putt. So
nice.
Made a nice little bird.
So most difficult hole on the 9, and you've made bird.
And I've made bird. Yep.
Nice.
And then went par for the final 2. So I felt like things were kind of coming together a little towards the end of the round, and there was definitely a lot to work on still, and it wasn't amazing. There were still some bad holes and bad swings, but I don't know. I felt like the thing I felt was my swing plane was a lot more consistent, which undoubtedly is because of the shoulder alignment issue. And I felt like as a result of that, I had a bit more confidence in where the club face was coming back to the ball. Which I thought was really solid. And, a lot to work on, nowhere near grooving all of those things in. It still feels very weird and artificial, but, working in the high performance center, it's getting better and better. I do want to take you through some strokes gain stats here.
Yep.
Because this was interesting. So because it was the way the nines were mixed up, it goes on 2 different rounds in ShotScope. So I've had to add them or halve them and then add them together to make that work, if you understand, because they're doing on the 9 holes the way that ShotScope calculates it. It does it as multiplies it to 18. So you've got to then halve it and take it back, if that makes sense. So tee shots, and remember the first 9 was my worst 9. Also should mention it rained a bit during the first 9, so I don't like that as well. Makes things a bit harder. But anyway, the first 9 tee shots were, and this is against a scratch benchmark, was minus 2.28. So essentially for 9 holes, minus 1.14. The second 9 was minus 0.72. So when you halve them, add them together, overall it was minus 1.5, which I've got to say I thought was a bit generous. Cause
you didn't feel...
I didn't feel it was that good.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But data is what the data is. Approaches, obviously still a lot to do on the front 9. Again, you got to halve these numbers, which I do in the total. So minus 5.16, the second 9 minus 6.92. So even that out, it turns out to the whole round as minus 6.04. So 6 shots lost on approach.
Yep.
That's probably fair. Short game, thinning one out of the bunker and that sort of stuff was not great. So it was minus 6.16 and minus 5.16. So when you average them out, that gives you minus 5.66 for the round. So that's where it's at. It's ball striking in those 2 areas. Putting was interesting. I did make a few good putts. Front 9 was positive 0.9. And on the second 9 was positive 6.2.
Wow. Okay.
So that ended up overall becoming a positive 3.55 strokes gained putting.
Yep.
So Frankenstein's monster is going quite nicely.
Nice. Well, I mean, that's and to be honest with you, I find that even though we know that strokes gained, ball striking strokes gained, is where a lot of your improvement comes, to be able to get out there and putt well and not necessarily save the round, but at least still shoot something decent because you're in a good spot with your putting. I think there's a lot to take out of that.
Oh, look, I've got to say, going out and trying a swing overhaul and being able to break 85, I was pretty happy with that, realistically. As I say, I did make a few good putts. What was interesting is I feel like, and I think I've spoken of this before, because I have worked quite a lot on this, and obviously the putter fitting helped, but I can now roll the ball, end over end and keep the line straight. So I know I can hit a putt on the line that I want to hit.
Yep.
And as a result of that, my confidence level in those shorter putts, say 3 to 8 feet, is so much higher than what it used to be. That's actually taken pressure off the lag putting. Not standing over a lag putt going, I've got to hit this dead, otherwise I'm going to have a knee knocker. But more standing over it going, I want to get it, relatively close, but pressure's off a bit because I'm pretty confident within 8 feet. That's made a massive difference, Andy Walker.
And the other part of that is you can actually be a little bit more aggressive, because if you roll it 3 or 4 feet past,
not the end of the world.
Exactly. You know, the chances are, and you're not going to get all of them. I mean, you know, even the PGA Tour pros don't get all of them. But if you're confident and you're able to hit it on the line that you want, then you're going to get the vast majority of those 3 to 4 footers, which means that, you know, when you're, 18, 20 feet, you can actually be a bit more aggressive. And as I said, if you roll a little bit past, then it's no big drama.
And here's the other oxymoronic part of our game is that the things that have helped my putting improve, and I mean, if you go back, I don't know, 12 months, maybe not even, you'll hear a lot of our conversations when I was having the absolute putting woes, and, you know, it was terrible. It was like holding a door snake. The things that have helped, the two things that have helped, one, and I know you view this differently, but I'm an absolute acolyte to this theory, and that is using the line on the ball. Okay, read the putt, and then, you know, have the line. I draw it with the Sharpie the whole way around the ball. Line the ball up with the line pointing on the line of the putt you want to hit. The thing that makes that important for me is we did a check on the practice green, and what I think the line is when I'm standing over a putt is about 2 cups right of what it actually is, which is really interesting. So my alignment when I stand over the ball is obviously, you know, visually for me it doesn't work. So having that lined up from behind the ball is actually really important. But it also means standing over the ball, you can have confidence in that you know that you're setting up on the right line, you're hitting on the right line, so you don't have to think about line and you just think about speed. So it simplifies the thought process. But the other thing, and I think this is even more important and it's been more helpful, is to stop caring whether the ball goes in the hole or not. And that's the bit that's a bit of an oxymoron. Like, you want to hit the ball in the hole. The best way to hit the ball in the hole is to not care whether or not the ball goes in the hole.
Yeah, and that's it. It's focusing on process and letting the outcome be whatever the outcome is. But I also want to clarify with that line on the ball. I have no problem with that line on the ball. Like, I don't feel like it works for me. But
that's what I mean. I'm not saying that you have a problem with it, but just that you don't like to do it.
I can completely understand the logic behind it. It's got very, very sound logic, and that's why I tried it, because it does have that logic. I just found that it just wasn't something that helped what I was doing.
There's 2 things I like about it, if not more. Obviously, it's the alignment thing, you know, like, and I personally think that it probably should be illegal. It's that good. You know, and how it's not construed as an alignment aid, which is illegal, I don't understand. But anyway, it's legal, so I'll use it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of the balls now are getting those sorts of things put on them in manufacturing anyway. So you know, you're going to be able to get around it, and just, you know, being able to use the ball or a type of ball that has that type of alignment line on it. Yeah,
I mean, if they made it illegal, they'd have to stop making those sorts of balls. But
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, big business, so it's probably not going to happen. But the other thing that I really like is the feedback that it gives you. So when you've got the line, if you hit a good putt, the line will roll and you see it. If you don't hit a good putt, the line will scramble. And when you see that, you go, well, I've obviously not hit that square. So it's actually giving you some immediate feedback on how well you're hitting your putts as well. And I quite like that as well. And it's one of those ones where you go, if I miss a putt, but I see the line roll perfectly, I can be okay with that, because I know I've hit a good putt. It's just I might have misread it, or, you know, it might just be the green hasn't reacted the way that you think it will, because it's a natural surface. But I think the line just is so good. If you're not using it, I think it's worth testing out. I really do.
And I mean, we've discussed this before as well. And one of the things that I do is that I'm a spot picker when it comes to, and this is all through my game. This is full shots as well as putting. So with full shots, I'll pick a spot maybe 2 feet in front of the ball. That's my starting line. And when I'm over a putt, it's like inside 6 inches. So I'm not using that alignment line. I'm picking a spot that's on my target line. So that's how I make sure that my alignment is correct. So it's just a different methodology, but it sort of has a similar outcome to what that alignment mark is.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, for what it's worth, Pilgrims, I would say give it a red hot go because it's awesome. So anyway, that was the practice round. So it was. I think it was a good start. Like, in all honesty, if you'd asked me beforehand how I thought it was going to go, I probably would have said, like, if I shot anywhere in the even sort of mid to high 80s, I would have been okay, so long as I stuck to the process and stuck to trying to work those swing changes and didn't give it away halfway and revert back. Which so I ticked that and I probably got a better result than I expected. So I think all in all, it was really good. We had another bit of a hit on Friday, just passed as well, with a couple of mates that have visited from Sydney. And
nice.
Look, to be honest, more of the same, but there was one particular moment that I want to share with you, Andy Walker, because I was on the very last hole that we played. I'd hit my approach into the greenside bunker, had a bit of a long bunker shot to play, so it was kind of like the front right bunker and the pin was back left, so it was sort of diagonally across the green.
So what hole was this?
You haven't played it because it's 27. It was
27, yeah.
It was on the other 9. And anyway, I mean, you would have seen it when you're standing on the 10th tee box. There's that green to your right-hand side.
Yes.
You've got those two bunkers there. So it was the front bunker going to the back left. So, and you might remember I was saying on the previous round, and I'd thinned the bunker shot through. And anyway, on this particular round, I'd done that again. And Matty was having a bit of a look and said, look, when you're playing your bunker shot, talk me through it. Like, what are you doing? I said, look, my process is open the stance, play the ball off the front foot, open the face of the club, and really try and, sweep the club under the ball, not digging, but keep the face of the club open. Almost like the analogy that I heard that kind of gives me a good feel on it is like you're taking the crust off the top of a loaf of bread. If you imagine that sort of the depth, you're not digging in, you're not slicing the loaf, but you're taking the crust off the top. So sliding that under. And he said, okay, no worries, just set up. So I did that, and he's like, all right, you're set up on your back foot. And I went, there's no way. I'm set up on my front foot. Yeah. So no, seriously, you're set up on your back foot. Now, we've had this conversation before. And he said, do you mind if I just stand in and I'll put my feet where I would stand just to show you where I would stand? And I went, yep, go for it. So he stood in there and left his 2 footprints, and he goes, try that. Obviously stood left-handed, not right-handed.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. I was going to say you're going to hit the wrong way, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
So he translated it. So anyway, I went in and I went, okay. And he goes, just trust me, just give it a go. And I went, because I've got no issue with authority. I said that's totally fine. So I went in.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So I went in the bunker and I stood in and I took my stance, and I kid you not, I felt like the ball was a foot in front of my front foot.
Yep.
It felt that far forward. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. There's no way. Like, if I swing through here, I'm going to hit this over my right shoulder or something like that. Like, it's that far in front. And he goes, no. That's where it needs to be. Like, you're now set up correctly. What you were doing before, you're on the back foot, and that's why you're thinning them or catching them fat because you're too steep and you're coming into the ball, or if you're going behind the ball, you're digging too deep because your ball's too far back, so your angle of attack's too steep into the ball.
Yeah. And I think part of that is when you open up your stance, you lose your frame of reference to where the golf ball is in relation to where your stance is.
It must be that. Yeah, it must be that.
Yeah, because I've had to do a lot of work on that as well. And I know in the modern game, a lot of players actually stand square when it comes to whether it be, pitching, chipping, bunker shots. But I was taught to stand with my stance open, sort of similar to what you're talking about. But you also lose your frame of reference to where the ball is when you've got an open stance. So I can completely understand how you got to that position where the ball is that far back, where it's almost on your back foot, allegedly.
And I think it's on my front foot, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he's moved me significantly back to where I feel like I'm playing it in front of my front foot. So strange. So I'm like, all right, we'll give it a go. And he goes, all I want you to do is just, don't quit on it. Make sure you accelerate through the ball, move your hands through the ball. Don't quit on the swing. See what happens. Who cares where it goes? Doesn't matter. So okay, give it a go. So I did that, and I've hit I could only describe it as my most pure ever bunker shot that I've hit. Right, I've nipped under the ball perfectly. And when you hit a bunker shot right, it kind of leaps out of the sand a little bit.
Yep.
So it's done that. As I said, fairly long bunker shot. It's flown most of the way to the pin, gone one bounce, zip, stopped to about 3 feet.
Yep.
And I went, maybe you got a point.
Yep.
Let's go with that then. All right.
Did you walk out of the bunker with like one hand in the air, like, acknowledging the crowd? And
once again, I think Matt was more excited than I was, but it was awesome. And the thing is, it's obviously it's simple. That's not a skill building thing. That's a setup thing. It takes no skill. But you got to know what you're doing, and you got to know what you're looking at and what you're doing wrong. And it's a sample size of one, so I'm not getting too carried away. But I'll tell you what, it was obviously the right thing to be doing. So I can't wait to give that one another go.
So then, do you think, and as we know, we've talked a lot about your pitching and chipping. Do you think you've got a similar problem with pitching and chipping as well? If you're opening up your stance with your pitching and chipping, then and I haven't sort of seen in recent times where you're at with pitching and chipping, so I'm just theorizing here rather than having anything based on fact, but potentially that could be an issue if you open up the stance with your pitching and chipping, that you could actually have the ball too far back in your stance. And then, because the other part of that is that with the ball forward, that actually also gets your body weight forward.
Yeah, that was one of the other things I noticed, actually. Yeah,
because if your body weight is certainly behind the ball and your center of gravity is behind the ball, with any sort of pitch or chipping, you can get away with a full shot most of the time. Yeah. But with pitching and chipping, it's critical to have your body weight and certainly your upper body leaning forward and potentially being at or in front of the ball.
It might be. I think there's a combination of things going on around the greens for me. Part of it is undoubtedly technical, and I also think part of it is mental.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that. We haven't even started to work on that yet because there's been plenty of other things that we've had to work through. But I'm really interested to see what happens there because. Again, like not having had any real instruction on how to play a variety of shots around the green, I don't have a skill base to fall back on and the knowledge of what to do other than just to try and feel your way through it. And I'm obviously doing many things incorrectly. which therefore is not reliable and introduces plenty of issues. And,
Yeah.
there's probably some really, really simple things that we'll work through that'll make a big difference in that space. And I genuinely think, like, I can drop, well, the strokes gain there suggests I can drop, up to 5 shots just on short game.
Yeah.
And that, there's no reason as, say, a higher single-digit handicapper, there's no reason why you couldn't have a short game as good as a scratchy handicapper, because it's not based on strength or, how far you hit the ball or anything like that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And look, I think that's one of the great things about having a coach, because especially when you don't have those points of reference like you were talking about, you need to have someone who is going to be able to look at your swing or, look at your technique and be able to point those things out. The whole, feel versus real the scenario that we talk about quite often, and you don't actually understand what you're doing when you're standing inside the jar. You've got to actually get outside of the jar, or have someone stand on the other side of the jar to actually read the label.
Where I feel I'm at is, the best explanation of it is the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yes.
And I know you're familiar with this, and if you're not, Google the graph, because basically it's about confidence versus knowledge, or whatever you want to call it, skill, ability, whatever. And it's a very steep increase, with confidence increasing incredibly steeply to begin with, where you arrive at the crest of Mount Stupid, where you think you're awesome and you really don't know anything. Huge amount of confidence, not a lot of ability. And then quickly you fall down into the valley of despair. And then you slowly build genuine knowledge and experience, and therefore that confidence then slowly starts to build. I feel like I'm down in the valley at the moment. I feel like I've fallen off the top of Mount Stupid, which is where I'd been for quite some time. And come down, and then, now starting this process of rebuilding, but rebuilding properly. Which is cool, because, like the first time in a long time I've had a plan, and I had something to work with, and somewhere to go. But it's a long road, and I've got to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff that I learnt incorrectly over the years.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of the brief summary of the Dunning-Kruger effect is, the more you know, the more you realise you don't know. Yeah. But the less you know, the more you think that you know. Essentially, yes, that's right. Yeah. That's sort of my brief summary understanding of the Dunning-Kruger effect. But you're right, it's a lot more in depth than that. But the classic graph is the big spike that you achieve quickly, then you drop off, and then you slowly build up. But actually that slow build up, then that tails down as well over time, which is to your point, that you get, and that probably continues to fluctuate as you go. Like, this is not an in-depth Dunning-Kruger effect podcast. But it's a good model, but it's the best way I can explain of where I feel I'm at the moment. It's not that I've gone backwards, but it's that I've realised, and I think I already knew a lot of this, but like I've shed whatever confidence that I had from things that had been working inconsistently based off incorrect methods. Yep. If that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So that's where we're at. It's been a wild ride, Andy Walker. The High Performance Centre is getting a workout. But that's good. So you mentioned, and I didn't sort of want to stop you at the time, but you did mention throughout, and I think it was in the comp round, you were talking about your change of flight. What's happening to your ball flight? Is it higher, lower? Do you feel like you've got obviously you've got more control? But what? Talk to me a little bit. I want to understand how these swing changes have affected your ball flight more. So at the moment, driver ball flight's probably a bit high from where it should be. But at the same time, I'm interested to maybe
get a bit more data on this, because listening to some of the stuff that, for example, Adam Young talks about on the Sweet Spot podcast, and he talks about not being a particularly long hitter or not having a particularly high club head speed, but he maxes out his distance by launch angle and reducing spin with driver. He goes into a lot of detail on that, but he often talks about people watch him hit a driver and go, that's way too high. And he says, no, I'm actually optimized. So whilst I'm probably hitting my driver a bit higher than I maybe want to at the moment, maybe that's not a bad thing. What has happened, though, is I think on toe shanks aside, I haven't missed one left.
Yep.
If anything, I'm probably overdrawing the odd one rather than going the other way. But what's also worth considering is that from my driver fitting, which I did with, different swing, different alignment, all the rest of it, it's set up with draw bias to maybe counter some of that swing path issue. So before I get too carried away with worrying about them going right, I could always move the weight on the driver head and see if that makes a difference as well, and just center that up rather than it being draw bias. But what's been really, really good has been just with my irons. When I'm hitting my irons solid, it's just a tight draw. Like, it's not much, but they're just coming in with like a sort of a 2 to 3 meter little draw on it, which is that's really cool. Because what's happened over historically is I've either hit a cut or kind of a pull hook quite often, and it's swing path related.
Yep.
They've been the two misses. It's been the slice or the pull hook, and that's absolutely to do with, is the club face square on the swing path or not? Because if it's open, obviously it's slicing. If it's square or closed, it's a pull or a pull hook. So I think it's what the setup change has done to swing path is probably the biggest change, and that's giving that reliable little baby draw, which is so cool. Never been able to just reliably do that. It's really, really nice.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes when, say, the wind's up a little bit and there's some adverse conditions, because that'll be a big test, because if you're improving your ball flight, it's going to be less affected by those adverse conditions and wind. Yeah, it's still going to be affected. You're never not going to be able to get out of it, but you're going to be able to penetrate through wind a lot better with that sort of ball flight and with an improved ball flight than what you would have otherwise.
I still maintain that the most effective thing to do in the wind is to find the centre of the club face.
It's not just in the wind.
But it really makes a difference. Like, you really notice it as soon as there's any breeze into your face. Any mishits just go nowhere.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And taking spin off, and we've talked about that before, and I know we talked about that a few weeks ago when Matty was on here, and that was always my go-to. Having played New South Wales a lot, taking spin off is a really critical skill when you're playing in those windy conditions.
100%. Yeah. I mean, look, the next sort of period of time, the things that we'll be looking into is around weight distribution. Getting off the heels more onto the balls of the feet. Also, things like weight transition through the shot to make sure that, getting off the back foot through, transferring onto the front side through the shot, some of those sorts of things to really, it's probably the next step. Once these moves are grooved in, I feel like there's a lot of basics for me to work through, what feels like basics. And as I said to Matty, don't think for a moment, don't expect for a moment that anything that you want to say, don't expect I know it, because I haven't come up through knowing the basics. I've figured some stuff out, but there's plenty of the basics that he'll mention. I'll go, oh wow, I didn't know that, and he looks at me like I'm Martian, because the expectation is that you should know that. But I still remain a cricketer playing golf, and that takes a while Well, it's not so much get that out of your game. I feel like I probably got that out of my game largely, but it's more about you just don't know what you don't know. So it's important to become aware of that.
Yeah, and what I said at the start of the episode, that gathering of knowledge from when you're young to where we are now, when you're starting at 10, 11, 12, or I started playing serious golf about 14, but you just can't compare the total knowledge that someone has got starting at that age versus someone who takes the game up in their mid-30s.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. Like I look at the cricket team that my young bloke was in last year. They had a really, really good young player in their side, really good batter who, sorry, I've got to call him a batsman, old school, who I was watching, and he's got a lot of natural ability, really good. Really good sportsman, plays, rep cricket around Western New South Wales, and, he's got some ability. But I was standing there on the sideline and I was just watching how the ball would come off the bat, and I could see from standing out on the side of the field, quite some distance away, the issue that he had with the way he was gripping the bat. His dad was there watching as well, and I said, "Hey mate, do you mind if I have a chat with your young bloke when he comes off? I've just, kind of noticed a couple of things that I think might help him if he's interested." And he's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Please do." I've never played the game, so I don't know what to say to him. And he came off.
And did you say neither have I? But I just want to have a chat to him.
I've just got some opinions. He knew who I was. It was fine. And anyway, so he came off, and I was having a bit of a chat with him about it, and sort of talking about what are the issues, how are you getting out, what's happening with the shots that aren't coming off as you want them to, and blah, blah, blah. And we're talking about things. I said, look, what I've noticed is just the orientation that you've got your top hand and the way that you're gripping the bat. We had a bit of a chat about things, and in the young bloke, he was loving it. Like he was getting right into the conversation, really enjoying it, because there's sometimes, particularly in regional New South Wales, you don't get a lot of access to coaching as well. But what was interesting, he walked off and his dad was just standing there, and he goes, that was so cool. He goes, I've never seen, insert young bloke's name here, just get so engaged in a conversation like that with some random adult. And he goes, but you were talking his language, you knew exactly what you're talking about. And he goes, I listened to the two of you and I had no idea what you guys were talking about. And it's just one of those things where you kind of go, wow, I felt like I was talking about the absolute basics, like there was nothing out there in that advice. But to people that don't know, you just don't know. And I'm the same with golf 100%. To a large degree. Like I know a bit, but I don't know a lot. So it's exciting to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that Matty's on board. Sounds like already he's had a very positive impact on your game. Look forward to seeing where it goes.
Whatever the result is, he's a nice bloke to have a round of golf with, so that's all good. So there you go, Andy Walker. That's been my adventures over the past week. Bit going.
Nice.
But I hope we're moving forward. And some of it, particularly that 6-iron, it felt like golf.
Yep. As opposed to when you started, it didn't feel like golf.
No, the toe shank did not feel like golf. But it's all part of the game.
Nice.
So there you go, Pilgrims. Let us know your thoughts, experiences, advice. Jump on the Facebook page, get involved, and join the yearly championship. It's a lot of fun. And whilst the Pilgrims do that, Andy Walker, have you got any advice that you'd like to share?
Just one bit of advice. Rock out, Pilgrims.
Nice.
I've been working on my takeaway. I've been working on my turn, trying not to do the things I apparently never learned. I got notes beside the golf bag, I got feelings in my head. I got 3 new swing thoughts, and I'm trying to keep them fed. Every shot's a little different, everyone feels slightly wrong. I've been standing on this range so long, I swear the sun has moved along. Then it felt like gold for just one swing. No thoughts in my head, no mechanical thing. I don't know what I did, and I don't really care. For one little moment I was already there. Yeah, it felt like gold, like it used to feel. Nothing to fix, nothing to make real. Just a ball and a club, and a swing I didn't plan. For one little moment I was back in the game. It wasn't hard or violent, it wasn't something new. I didn't think about my hips or what my hands were supposed to do. I just picked the target and somehow let it fly. And when I caught it in the middle, I didn't even wonder why. It climbed into the evening with that little fading draw, and I stood there watching it like I'd never seen a ball before. 'Cause it felt like golf for just one swing. No thoughts in my head, no mechanical thing. I don't know what I did, and I don't really care. For one little moment I was already there. Yeah, it felt like golf, like I used to know before I started trying to make the whole thing flow. Just a ball and a club, and a swing I didn't plan. For one little moment I was back in the game. So naturally I tried it, just to see if I could. I made the exact same swing, or at least I thought I should. I thought about the takeaway, I thought about the turn, I thought about the feeling I've been trying hard to learn. The next one went to nowhere, the one after that went worse, and somewhere in the middle I remember my coach's words. You can't force a feeling, you can't hold it in your hands. Sometimes you have to trust the work and let it make its plans. Maybe progress isn't perfect, maybe perfect isn't real. Maybe one good swing is enough to know you know the feel. It felt like golf for just one swing. No thoughts in my head, no mechanical thing. I don't know what I did, and I don't need to care. 'Cause for one little moment I was already there. Yeah, it felt like golf, and that's all I need. A little bit of proof that the work is planting seeds. I don't have to own it, I don't have to understand. I just need to trust the swing that's already in my hands. Maybe tomorrow I'll lose it, maybe I'll search all day, but somewhere underneath the thinking there's a swing that knows the way. And for one little moment it felt like golf.